everyone, it's a brand new year and that means a load of brand new games to look forward to. I've done my best to cobble together as many as I could into a list video. In fact, I found 73. So sit back, relax and enjoy the ride as I go through each and every one of them in a tiny amount of detail. Enjoy. First up, John Marston is back, and this time he's brought some friends. Yup, Red Dead Redemption 2 is on its way, and as it's a Rockstar game, we can be sure of two things. One, it'll be super high quality, and two, it'll probably end up getting delayed until sometime in 2018. Perhaps that wasn't the best way to start this list after all.
This is over.
This spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie smashed Kickstarter records back in 2015, and 2017 will be the year when all its backers finally get to see if their money has been well spent.
Ahoy, motherfuckers!
Agents of Mayhem is an open-world spin-off of the Saints Row series, based on one of the endings of Gat Out of Hell. There's no actual gameplay out there yet, but judging by this cinematic trailer, we can expect a familiar dose of dubstep, immature humour, and lots of purple things.
It's up to you how the story ends!
David Cage's next game, Detroit Become Human, features many similarities to his previous works. There's multiple playable characters, a sci-fi storyline, and of course, there'll be plenty of emotions. Let's just hope this one leaves any phenomenally bad child actors on the cutting room floor. Everyone's favourite series about shooting army men's in the bollocks is back, but this time you'll find those bollocks in some lovely open-world levels set in Nazi-occupied Italy. Cross your legs, lads, it's Sniper Elite 4. For this next entry, I was gonna do a rap, but I tried it out a couple of times and it just came out crap. Kick, punch, it's Parappa the Rapper Remastered. If, for some reason, you couldn't get enough of the penis-y horror of Outlast and its whistleblower DLC, perhaps you'd like to try Outlast 2. While the location for this sequel has been moved from the claustrophobic corridors of a psychiatric hospital to the Sonoran Desert at night, we're pretty sure that you'll still have to avoid getting your willy lopped off by a lot of angry people. Oh, yep. There we go, right in the jewels. Jesus, what's wrong with these people? It's been a long time coming, but Tequila Works' Zelda-inspired adventure is now planned for release in May. Best of all, it's no longer a PlayStation exclusive, so now everyone can have a go. Unless you only own a Wii U. If that's the case, then you're screwed. Sorry.
Shut the hell up, Marguerite!
Rezi's going all Texas Chainsaw Massacre in this year's instalment of Capcom's sometimes excellent, sometimes poop horror franchise. With the addition of a PSVR mode, I'm betting Resident Evil 7 will be one of the scariest yet, and I can't wait to play it. Welcome to my video game collection, son.
Ready for some slapstick?
New Harley, same crazy.
Continuing on from where Gods Among Us left off, Injustice 2 will once again pit superhero against superhero in a fight to see who is the most super of all the heroes. This time the roster of combatants is even bigger and it's chock full of well-known DC characters like Gorilla Grodd, Blue Beetle and Atrocitus. Hey, is this a joke? I've never heard of any of these. Gravity Rush, arguably one of the best games for the PlayStation Vita, finally gets a sequel later this month, but not for the PlayStation Vita, which kinda sucks. Still, the extra horsepower of the PS4 should see everyone raving about Kat's next adventure. Get it? Raven? Because her friend is called Raven? Oh, never mind. NieR Automata. NieR Automata? Tug of War has never been as stabby or as fun as the back-and-forth dueling of indie hit Nidhogg. Its sequel features a brand new art style, extra weapons, and of course, the return of the worm. Relive all your Camp Crystal Lake fantasies without actually having to murder real-life people in Friday the 13th, the game. Its unique 7v1 multiplayer sees a player-controlled Jason Voorhees hunting a collection of cowering camp counsellors. Their only chance of defeating him? Well, that involves the counsellors learning how to work together as a team. So basically, if Johnny, Aoife, Chris and I were playing, we'd be screwed. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is the only game coming out this year in which you'll be able to pit Mega Man against Iron Man in a bid to see who is the best man.
Napoleon played us all, one against the other. For what?
If you want to spend 2017 making samurais fight Vikings within a medieval fantasy setting, For Honor is for you. Hopefully the sizable single-player campaign and host of multiplayer modes will make up for its shocking lack of historical accuracy.
Who do you think you are?
War.
I am war.
Legendary developer Jeff Minter is back in 2017 with a PSVR exclusive psychedelic shooter based on the spooky urban legend about the killer arcade cabinet Polybius. I wonder if he'll manage to squeeze in a llama or two.
No, don't you dare, don't you fucking dare!
Not much is known about Get Even yet, but going by the gameplay clips released, it looks like a mixture of Condemned Criminal Origins, Silent Hill, and The Matrix, which, to be honest, sounds pretty ace.
What's going on? Something feels off.
Yes, you appear to be experiencing
A slight temporal anomaly.
What do you do when you can't make a good new Sonic game? You make a new old Sonic game, that's what. You better be excited for Sonic Mania, or Sega will give you a Knuckles sandwich.
You will become the hunted. Can you brave that challenge?
Horizon Zero Dawn has robo-dinosaurs and a ginger protagonist? Sign me up, I say.
You have to make the kill.
Unless there's a surprise announcement coming up, it looks like we won't be getting a new Far Cry game this year. Fear not though, CI Games have basically just reskinned Far Cry 3 for the next installment of their sniper franchise, so fans of open world stealthing, shooting and climbing should be well catered for. Bucking the series' trend of being absolutely god-awful, Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 actually looks like it might be pretty good. Ghost Recon Wildlands is an odd beast. The old Ghost Recon formula has been taken out back and shot in the head, leaving this new instalment looking a little bit like Metal Gear Solid 5, but with 4-player co-op and a storyline that isn't batshit crazy. It looks promising, but is this gameplay representative of the final product, or will we see another Ubi downgrade? I guess we'll find out later this year.
So, what's our next target?
Poochy and Yoshi's Woolly World is an updated version of the Wii U platformer Yoshi's Woolly World for the 3DS. There's even some new levels thrown in for good measure, including a few that put you in control of the titular Wool and Wonder pup, Poochy. But who cares about the game when you'll be able to buy this adorable Poochy amiibo on the day of release? Oh, look at his little face. Remember that creepy stop-motion film, The Secret Adventures of Tom Thumb? Well, Little Nightmares looks a bit like that, with its grim, claymation-esque art style and eerie gameplay. Development on Neo began way back in 2004. It was due for release in 2016, but it was held back until this year so Team Ninja could make some hasty changes based off of player feedback from the demo. So Neo so far, I guess. Breath of the Wild has been a long time coming, and it's been delayed more times than Johnny Chiodini has cooked hot dinners for his weekly cooking show on youtube.com/Eurogamer. Excellent plug there. 2017 is the year of Zelda though, and I'm sure it'll take our breath away.
You'll need to cover your tracks like a professional. Leave nothing to chance.
Budget Cuts is so good it somehow managed to get into joint 28th place on our Games of 2016 list, even though it's not even out yet. If the game is half as good as its demo though, it'll be the best VR game of the year, hands down. Just take a look at this game. Just look at it. It looks beautiful. Gameplay details for Tokyo 42 are scarce at the moment, but we do know it has an open-world campaign with shooter and stealth elements, a multiplayer mode, and a gorgeous Syndicate meets Hotline Miami vibe to its isometric cityscapes.
We've detected a large incoming enemy force. Eradicate them!
The Halo universe is headed back to the RTS genre once again with Halo Wars 2. The fact that this is being developed by 343 Industries alongside the masters of strategy games Creative Assembly means that there's a good chance this sequel will be much better than the original game.
Push them back!
Crash Bandicoot Remastered is the same game you played on the PS1, but with updated graphics and sound. Except you won't be able to hear those new sounds over the noise of everyone complaining about how much they preferred the original. Strafe is like those games you remember playing back in the 90s, but much faster and with bucket loads of procedurally generated gore. Nostalgia gore.
There's no room for uncertainty.
Prey looks ace, like Dishonored meets Bioshock meets System Shock meets Dead Space, with a little bit of prop hunt thrown in there for good measure. The only downside? No Tommy Tawodi. Such a shame.
Whoa, not into that.
Thanks to Star Trek Bridge Crew for the PSVR, you can now spend all day and every day making jokes about Klingons orbiting Uranus, and no one will bat an eyelid.
Punch it as soon as you can. Here we go.
Woohoo!
The best way to describe Absolver is kind of like Dark Souls, but with martial arts. Beware, this ain't no button masher, and casuals will get KO'd fast.
Take my little darlings with you, of course.
Ni no Kuni was such a lovely game, and Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom looks like it'll be just as lovely, although this sequel doesn't seem to have any snarky Welsh fairies in it, which is kind of disappointing.
Kneel before the king of Ding Dong Down.
Tacoma is the new game from the developers of Gone Home, which means some people will dismiss it automatically because reasons. The rest of us can expect some kind of space-based mystery that's set on a lunar transfer station 200,000 miles from Earth. God, Telltale will do series on anything nowadays, won't they? Stay tuned to this channel for next year's Games of 2018 video, where I'll probably be showing off gameplay from Ian Higton, the Telltale series. I am Groot.
You
can plot a course and get your treasure hunt underway. Ideally, at some point you'll make it to the right island. And
Set sail for adventure, friends, because 2017 is the year that Rare finally gets to shake off the ghost of Kinect and release a proper game. Multiplayer piracy on the high seas never looked so good.
Just like birthday celebrations and riding a seesaw, digging for treasure is much more fun with someone else.
Tekken 7 has been out in the arcades for like 2 years now, but this year it's finally making its way to home consoles. There's a healthy roster of 36 playable characters, which even includes Akuma from Street Fighter fame. Finish him! Oh wait, wrong game. Mass Effect Andromeda is the 4th game in the Mass Effect series, and the first to feature an open-world environment. It takes place around 600 years after the first 3 Mass Effect games, so whatever ending you got in 3 probably doesn't matter now anyway.
This way.
Okay.
Right. Shenmue III is supposed to come out in December of this year, but will it? Will it really? Considering the scope of the game that Yu Suzuki is planning, I'm not too sure.
Come on, let's hurry.
Agony is a first-person survival horror game set in hell where possessing demons can help you survive. The terrifying locations look like something plucked straight out of H.R. Giger's freakiest nightmares, so it's pretty safe to say that this won't be a feel-good, family-friendly romp. There's a lot of successful Kickstarter games releasing this year. This one, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, is a spiritual successor to the Castlevania series. Here's hoping it's not as disappointing as Mighty No. 9, the kickstarted spiritual successor to Mega Man. God of War 4, aka God of War, is something like the 8th God of War game to have been made, so God knows what went wrong with their numbering system. Anyway, it's the first God of War to appear exclusively on the PS4, and it looks absolutely jaw-dropping, so I'll probably just end up calling it God of War, or God of War 4, or maybe even God of War 4 if I'm feeling extra saucy. The first numbered Double Dragon game in about 20 years releases this month, and it looks just like the Double Dragon games I used to play on my NES. This makes me happy.
Using 100% destructible environments.
PC and Xbox exclusive Crackdown 3 is due out this winter, which is kind of annoying because after 10 years of looking, I still can't find the last agility orb in the first game. Details are slim on Crackdown 3 at the moment, but as long as it's better than the mediocre Crackdown 2, I'm sure it'll be fine.
It's not just what you can do with a gun. It's the opportunities you can create with destruction.
How did it get to this?
There's plenty of fart and poop jokes on the horizon as the release date for South Park The Fractured But Whole approach. Oh, wait a minute, I get it now. Butthole. Ha, clever.
You get out of my house!
State of Decay may have been a bit scruffy, and it never really achieved what it set out to do in the start, but nevertheless it was a fantastic survival game that garnered a huge fan base. This sequel should hopefully iron out the cracks and give us the console-based co-op survival game we've always wanted. The sequel no one wanted to the game that no one liked is out later this year, and no one cares. It's Knack 2. Next! We don't even know what this Mario game is going to be called yet, but the Switch is releasing in March, so it's a good bet that this will be a launch title. Wahoo!
as soon as I start to come down block.
Kingdom Come Deliverance is a role-playing game that prides itself on being historically accurate. That means no dragons, no orcs, and definitely no dwarf tossing. But does that also mean it'll be no fun? I guess we'll find out later this year.
Defend yourself. I'll show you how it's done.
Based on a card game that featured in another game, Gwent the Witcher card game is a free-to-play collectible card game from the makers of The Witcher. I don't know what else to say, really. I wonder if it's possible to play it while having sex on top of a unicorn. I guess it probably would be if I could get my hands on a tablet that runs Windows, that is, and a dead unicorn, I guess.
They used to tire my tongue about that.
That there is nothing to go back to at all. Stay still, stay quiet, hide, don't tell around.
Their gods can see into you.
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice used to just be called Hellblade. That was a lot easier to spell and to say, to be honest. If you enjoyed Enslaved Odyssey to the West or DMC Devil May Cry, then you should find something in here to tickle your fancy.
Leave me alone.
You will die here.
No.
And all your suffering will have been for nothing.
Aside from the fact that it has some PSVR functionality, we don't yet know that much about the PS4 exclusive flight sim Ace Combat 7. There's planes in it, that's for sure, and some lovely clouds, and it probably revolves around a bonkers story that's set in the fictional world of Strange Reel, because they all do. But who cares? PSVR dogfights, yo!
Adios, you damn fool.
Then prove your worth. Lest your adversaries prove theirs.
Pyre is an action role-playing game with combat that's been likened to a mix of Dota and Rocket League. I'm not even going to pretend to know how that's supposed to work, but it looks nice, eh?
Now go forth in glory, or be banished here.
Cuphead might actually come out this year. I'm not sure there's anyone left who actually cares at this point though. After countless delays, it's kind of hard to remain enthusiastic about it. But then again, the art style is so good, maybe we can forgive it after all. Night in the Woods stars a cat called May. She has a friend called Bee, a cigarette-smoking alligator, and a best friend named Greg, who is a fox. It sounds like it has the makings of a fun kids cartoon, but actually its themes cover mental illness, depression, the stagnancy of the middle and lower classes, and the slow death of small-town America. So perhaps don't play it with little Timmy before bedtime. Nothing is known about Star Wars Battlefront 2 except for the fact that it is definitely coming out this year. At a guess, I'd say it'll tie in much more tightly with Episode 8 rather than revisiting locations from the original trilogy. But I also thought that Star Wars Episode 1 was going to be good, so what do I know?
Stand with us.
I will bring you to justice.
I can feel it.
Oh look, it's Persona 5. People like Persona games, right? I've never played one, so it just looks like someone keeps interrupting an anime with random bits of gameplay to me. So I guess that probably makes me a bad Persona.
It's not just Japan anymore. The whole world's waiting to see the Phantom Thieves' next move.
The Wipeout Omega collection consists of remastered tracks from Wipeout HD, Wipeout Fury, and Wipeout 2048. They're bound to look stunning running on a PS4 Pro, what with the 4K resolution and the 60 frames per second gameplay. But what's this? No PSVR support announced? Ooh, they really missed a trick there. There's a new Spider-Man movie coming out this year, so it's not really surprising that there's a video game tie-in in the works as well. There's not much info out there on the web, but if Insomniac Games are developing it, it should have a fair few legs to stand on.
You ultimately need to do what your heart feels is right.
I'm not even going to bother saying the name for this game out loud because it's just plain stupid. Let's be honest, if you've not played any of the other Kingdom Hearts games, you're not going to play this one. But if you have, you probably will. It's out this year.
I'm back!
Join me, Guardian.
Love it or hate it, Destiny was a bit of a phenomenon, and because of that we covered it quite a lot on our website. So with the release of Destiny 2 on the horizon, I guess we can look forward to another year or so of people calling us Destiny Gamer. Yay! This here's a PSVR game called Golem. Gameplay details are sparse at the moment, but it's being developed by a studio that was founded by former Bungie employees, so fingers crossed it'll be rock solid. Scalebound is a third-person action RPG created by Platinum Games, the masters of third-person action games. It stars a man named Drew who has to beat up dragons. If he really means business, he'll put some headphones on because I don't know why. Oh, and it's a PC and Xbox exclusive. Sorry, Sony fans.
Pilgrim, do you copy? Do you see this?
Farpoint is a PSVR exclusive first-person shooter that, going by this gameplay, looks pretty cool. But then again, so did Robinson the Journey, and look how that turned out. Anyway, to play this properly, you'll need to buy a big plastic gun peripheral, because some people obviously think we don't look stupid enough playing VR games already.
Pilgrim, can you read me? This is Dr. Tyson and Dr. Moon. Come back.
Got you. Once upon a time, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy was a sizable chunk of DLC for Uncharted 4. Not now though, now it's a fully fleshed out standalone game starring Chloe Fraser and Nadine Ross that's set after the events of Uncharted 4. Will Nathan Drake make an appearance, or will he be too busy playing Crash Bandicoot Remastered, I wonder? We'll find out sometime later this year.
You're late. I thought you were professional.
Oh, you should relax. You'll live longer.
It's the same great game you loved back in 2011, but now you can play through the whole of Bulletstorm's campaign as Duke Nukem. Also, the graphics are shinier.
Rim piece of shit. We're right back where we started.
This year's Gran Turismo is supposedly the first in a new era of Gran Turismo games. It looks just the same to me though, and by the same I mean you get to drive incredibly detailed cars around stunning environments. Also, there's PSVR support, but not for the full game, only for something called a VR Tour mode, so don't get too excited. Don't Nod really don't like to be pigeonholed, do they? Firstly, they made action-adventure game Remember Me, which, ironically, everyone's forgotten about. Then they made the episodic teen angst-em-up Life is Strange, and now they're back with Vampire, an action role-playing game that's based on the 1918 London Spanish flu pandemic. Ooh, that sounds hella gothic.
I tried to be a good father.
Do you miss the days when Call of Duty was just about World War II rather than spacemen's and spacewomen's floating around in space shooting space robots in the space face? If you do, keep an eye out for Battalion 1944. It's a multiplayer FPS that aims to put the ground back beneath your feet and an M1 Garand back in your hand. There'll be more guns than that, of course. I just needed something that rhymed with look, never mind. I was supposed to have an interview with Capybara, the makers of Below, at Gamescom 2014, but they stood me up and I had to hang around for ages on my own in the middle of a crowd looking like a complete and utter lemon. The brutal gameplay of this moody roguelike looks pretty great though, so I guess I'll forgive them for now. Remember the last first-person Walking Dead game, Survival Instinct from Activision? It was pretty poop, so fingers crossed Overkill's take on the post-apocalypse will be better. It sounds promising though, a shooter with elements of roleplay, survival horror and stealth, all wrapped up in a lovely co-op package. Now all they need to do is show us some gameplay ever. Whew, and that is all 73 done and dusted. Now, I expect at this point you're busy throwing stuff at the screen going, oh my god, Ian, you forgot about Obscuratron 32. What are you, some kind of freaking idiot? Well, feel free to vent that rage in the comments below and let us all know which game you're looking forward to that I selfishly missed off this list. And while you're doing that, why not check out one of these videos? We've got Johnny's cooking video here, and of course a brand new series launched by Chris called Here's a Thing, which is very interesting and it's going down a storm. So check them out, and we'll see you again very soon right here on Eurogamer. Goodbye.